YouTube, what the crap's going on? HeirofCarthage here, and I am back on Rome 2 Total War. Let me make sure my recorder's going here. I accidentally clicked the wrong button. Yep, we're good. And I'm going to show you the second siege battle that I played, or city assault, I guess, in Rome 2, that I played against Alec. And he's playing as the Arevaci, I'm playing as Galatia, and the map is Birdigala. And it's a small settlement on this particular setting. You can see his army there. He's got a pretty good load of well, it looks like painted ones, 4 painted ones, 4 Scutari, 2 noble fighters. It's like 2 Balearic slingers, 3 Iberian slingers, 3 skirmishers. So my army is, I believe I brought, 8 Galatian legionnaires, which are a very powerful sword unit, ought to serve me well. And then I brought 4 of these Galatian swords with silver upgrades, basically to get their attack level up to where I'd hope it should be, because I knew that the Arevaci swords would be quite powerful. Let's see, my opponent has these guys that look like they've got a chevron each, or a couple of them have a chevron, so they get 44 attack, which is really nice. They're just lighter on armor, so yeah, let's see, in his Scutari are going to be really good units, to be honest. Those are going to be tough units to beat, very tough to beat. My Galatian Legionnaires, I believe, are up to the task. The problem is that I'm going to be fighting kind of an uphill battle because I have to get through this wall. And my opponent, of course, knew where I was going to deploy, so he has these balls here deployed waiting for my men to get down here in this kill zone. And I'll let you see how I managed to deal with that. And I have 2 noble horse out here hidden in the woods, hoping that I can burn the gates with my cheap spear unit, get through the gates, and effect a lot of damage on his swords. Now, what I have forgotten is that these gates do have oil. So we'll see how that goes for me. And supposedly, remember that oil was nerfed. We'll see how much oil was nerfed whenever I go through the gates. Ought to be interesting. So I bring my siege towers up, and I decide to go ahead and dock these 3 here. And then what I want to do is get a line of men on the ground kind of defending this tower. I want to capture it, force him forward. And then if I keep my men here, it ought to minimize the impact of these flaming balls. And then hopefully I can push the other siege towers up afterwards, and then I'll bring up my infantry reinforcements to flood through the siege towers and just kind of keep reinforcing the battle while my spears try and come over here to cause a distraction burning the gates. And then I'll spring my my noble horse and try and get through the gate. My opponent's got to know that I have a general somewhere. It's hidden. Yeah, anyway, already capturing the tower from him. His guys are really good on the charge, but he wants to expend some of his ammunition, which I think is a good idea. He needs to expend his ammunition, hurt my men. He's got his Celtic skirmishers in reserve, which I like, or his Iberian skirmishers, because these guys can really cause me some damage. And honestly, I'm pretty concerned with them and kind of wishing that I would have brought some cheap slingers to try and trade some fire on them, because those guys worry me a lot. So here he's going to activate the flaming balls, and they're going to roll down the hill. One of his own guys got burned by it. But I ran my guys back up to the walls momentarily, like positioned them on the wall. This is bad because it's going to turn my back to the slinger fire, but I didn't want to get hit with those things either. And it temporarily saved me, and then I'll pull my men back off the wall so that their shields can be pointed in the right direction. But the armor on my legionnaires is protecting him. I actually think he lost some men from the flaming balls. 1 there, and a few there. Or no, this is probably from the tower fire, never mind. And he's got more skirmishers and swordsmen on this flank. So I'm in a pretty tough position here, folks. Pretty tough indeed. Don't know how well this is going to go for me. Looks like the flaming ball's about to putter out there. Let's see if it gets one of my men, like unfortunate men. These 2 chumps got burned. What a bunch of dorks. How about getting burned to death on a stationary flaming ball? So I'm going to bring my men up, and I don't know whether it's a good idea or not, but I engage, I think I engage Frenzy pretty early on my guys because it boosts their weapon damage, and I want to just effect a whole bunch of damage onto his men. My legionnaires have superior armor, but he's got Iberian skirmishers backing up his men. It's going to take his toll on my men. Yeah, there I engaged Frenzy. It didn't do much. Just popped my weapon damage up a little bit. Come to think of it, I probably shouldn't have even used it. I thought it was better. Oh, look, he had the he had the traps too, and I totally fell for it. Look at me just walking through all of his traps. I never even saw him. Goes to show you how well I can reconnoiter something. You can see some of my men here dead from the traps. So it's actually pretty effective on his part. Yeah, he's charging me with painted warriors here, but see, he went through his own traps that time too. The traps don't appear to kill a whole lot of men. Yeah, the fighting's in full force now. I've just lost my first unit of Galatian Legionnaires. I probably should have gotten all my men on the walls before I made this assault. And I apologize, it is lagging just a bit for some stupid reason. It didn't lag during the actual battle, so I'm not sure why it's lagging in the replay. But there we go. Quit lagging. Yeah, you can see my men under some pretty horrific conditions here. They're outnumbered. They're fighting uphill. They're getting slammed with Iberian skirmish fire. They're doing okay in certain particular pockets, but not doing so well necessarily everywhere. So I'm just trying to lead the fight on two fronts, and I got my spearmen and horsemen burning through the gates, and I'm getting pretty close to being able to burn through. And I totally forgot about the oil, so I'll show you how that turns out. Because honestly, my horsemen are my last hope at this point, because my opponent is winning the infantry fight. He'll run out of ammo eventually here with the skirmishers, but he's not going to run out of ammo anytime soon with those Iberian slingers. And so my men are in some pretty serious trouble here. I really need my horsemen through the gate. And I was hoping my men would last just a little longer over here, but it's taking longer to burn down the gatehouse than I anticipated, and I probably should have started doing it earlier to see if I could draw some of his attention that direction. Yeah, you can see him now reinforcing at the last minute with noble fighters, which is great. Hold these guys in reserve, bring them in when they're going to have the biggest impact. He charges forward his Iberian skirmishers just to hold my men while he continues to hit me with slinger fire, which again is a great decision. These guys are now out of ammo, so why not throw them into melee combat and protect your slingers so they can get more shots. So, like I said, great decision on my opponent's part. Yeah, and his noble fighters are more than a match for my men. It's going to be hard for me to deal with them. You can see that the fighting gets particularly fierce in this sector here with my Galatian Legionnaires versus his Arevaci noble fighters, which are definitely a tough unit. Even though the Legionnaire is a tough unit, the noble fighter is very ferocious. Not quite as tough as the Lusitani noble, but definitely a tough unit. Watch these guys duking it out. Whoa! Just caught a beheading right there up close if you all are paying attention. So, yeah, definitely a brutal fight, and his men are getting the better of it. The gatehouse is now on fire. So here in a moment I should be able to get my horsemen through, so I've got my general and the other unit ready. But my men are losing hard over here quick. Yeah, just not going as well as it should be for me. If I would have maybe planned things a little bit better, waited to make this assault until my noble riders were ready, but we'll see how this works. So the gates are now open. And I'm like, sweet, I can get in here, get these guys in. I'll take a little bit of damage getting through the gates, but noble horse are really good against swordsmen, and I had high hopes that these guys could get through the gates and help cause a lot of damage. So my opponent's got his Balearic slingers working on me, which is a good idea. But I was like, yeah, this will be fine. You know, we'll just get through the gate. I'll really start pouring on the damage, and I might be able to turn this fight around. And we'll see how this goes, like I said. Yeah, so there is Kentucky Fried Horse, if I've ever seen it. That is a waterfall of impenetrable boiling oil that just keeps pouring and pouring and pouring, and just completely destroys both my noble horse units before they can do anything. So, boiling oil, I like the idea. Might need just a little more nerfing. Just a little. You know, little. I mean, that's a pretty quick reload, come to think of it. I don't know how many vats of boiling oil you can have in such a small gatehouse, but I'm thinking if anything, nerf it a little, and should there be more than like one vat of it in a gatehouse that small? I mean, where else are you boiling it? I mean, it's got to still be boiling, right? But no, in any case, great game to Alex. I didn't lose that merely because of the boiling oil. I was losing it anyway. He played well. Hope you all enjoyed these two fun battles that we played. There's the stats on my men. Surprising enough, I had two units that got quite a few kills. This one was probably the one that got into some skirmishers, and this one here did surprisingly well for a Galatian sword unit. The rest of my guys, you know, that you can see that they were trying, but just getting pooped on, and then my noble horse just not able to do much because they all got fried to a crisp and served up with the colonel's 11 secret spices. So yeah, it did not go well. Did not go well at all. Great game to Alec. Hope you all enjoyed these. Heir of Carthage signing off for now, and I will see you all back on Total War in the near future.